Hello and welcome back to another video. Today going to be taking a very first look at the Toyota Celica from 2003, which as you can see I have now got from my summer festival playlist. Now I think out of the festival playlist cars, as a general rule, I'm only going to test things that weren't in Horizon 4, so that's why I'm going to test this out. But if there's any cars that I think are of particular interest, or that I'm particularly into, I will also be testing those out. So yeah, the other day we did test out the Car Pass car for this week, which was of course the XJ13, so if you haven't gone to see that, do go and check that one out. Went up a couple of days here on the channel. But yeah, today I'm going to be taking a look at the Toyota Celica from 2003, because this is the first Horizon game it's been in. So let's go and jump in the car and see what it's like. So here it is, the Celica SS1 from 2003. See what, okay, only the door's open. That's nice to know. So, the Celica SS1 is a 2003 Japanese domestic market only version of the 7th and final generation of Toyota Celica. This is the first Horizon game it's been in, previously only been in the Motorsport series, but has been in a number of those games. It has a 1.litre inline-4 engine developing 187 horsepower, which is in fact the same engine from the Toyota MRS. Whatever that is, I've not actually heard of that before. And yeah, it's a strange Japanese-only market version of this, which is why it has, why the bumpers and wing look aftermarket, apparently. So yeah, it's a slightly odd version of the final generation of Celica. It's front-wheel drive, nearly 200 horsepower. Shall we go and see what it drives like? Doesn't sound too bad, but sounds a bit generic. The initial turn-in's not too bad going around corners, and then the understeer kicks in, and you're reminded you're in a front-wheel drive thing. Because this generation, unlike previous Celicas, was never offered with all-wheel drive, apparently. So a quick look at the interior. Yeah, basic 90s Toyota. Well, even though it's 2003. Well, this car, of course, launched in the 90s, well, this model of Celica. Anyway, I think we should do what we usually do, head over to the festival circuit and see what time this can do. 5 laps of Rivals, as I've done with all of the other cars that are new to the game. So here we are with 5 laps of Rivals. It is C-Class 557 PI. The only other C-Class car I've run round here is the Lamborghini Espada. Couldn't think of anything in particular to run round before this that would be sort of relevant. We could have taken the older Celicas, but yeah, they're quite different machines, being all-wheel drive. So yeah, first front-wheel drive car I've taken round, second C-Class car I've taken round. The Lamborghini is at 597, so it's right at the top of C, and this is sort of sitting in the middle. So it'd be interesting to see how close it can get. I'm expecting it to handle better, but not quite the power on the straights. See, that turn-in is, it sort of understeers, and then that in turn kicks the back out and develops some oversteer. It's a bit weird. Anyway. Surely all of the downforce from that wing is helpful, even though it's front-wheel drive. It is definitely not purely a styling choice. Flat through the final corner. Yeah, easily. It's in C-Class, although the Lambo didn't, so 127, so 7 seconds behind, but that was just an outlap. But yeah, not expecting this to necessarily beat the Lambo. I'm surprised how much you can cut that corner. I've got away with that checkpoint before. It seems to be more lenient than a lot of them in this game. Alright, what's our time going to be after our first flying lap? 21.2. Lambo I know was in the 20s, so close. Somehow that tap on the wall didn't invalidate the time, although I've lost a bit of time. Yeah, it's slower. That was because of that incident with the wall. Right, let's try and be more careful in this corner. It's a sort of lift-off oversteer that you get from a front-wheel drive car, which try and brake a bit more smoothly in more of a straight line. Because on the power you can just floor it. It's not going to slide. Yeah, lost a bit of time there as well. So I don't think... No, that's a 22. Right, final lap. Oh, I was only just slower. There we go. 21.2. So, rather unsurprisingly, a 121.281 puts it in 16th place, just behind the Lamborghini, which makes sense. It's the middle of C, so it's ahead of the Mercury Cyclone, which was the top of D class, but behind the Lamborghini that was essentially the top of C class. But yeah, not too bad. It was only 4/10 off the Lambo, which for half a PI level isn't too bad. But now I think we should head to An Festival and, well, given it's 557, build it to the top of B before returning to see how that does. Right, let's see what we've got. As usual, I will start looking at the conversions and body mods before I speed up the footage and build something. Got many engines, inline 4, inline 4, inline 6, V6. But generally with these I try not to swap the engine unless I need to. You've got your usual, we've got all aspiration conversions basically. Aero and appearance, okay, there's a few options here. Ooh. What's that? Wow. I have an idea. Assuming all of these mods are just as horrible. I'm going to build the wildest thing I can to begin with. Then we'll come back and do our B-class build. I just want to see what we can make out of these... What? Out of these parts. You know what this needs for the full effect? An interesting livery. Okay, so I may have made a thing. I did end up swapping the engine, which you can probably hear. It's now got a 2JZ in it. And yes, it's still front wheel drive, so I've changed the engine, haven't modified that at all otherwise. I've put on the compulsory drift suspension and big chips and Forza tyres and big wheels and lowered suspension and an amazing purple livery that somebody's made. And that wing. It's not just the wing, it's like that mounting point on the boot lid is... wow. So yes, that is one way you can make a Celica. Oh god, it's... Front wheel drive is quite undrivable with this much power. And that wing wobbling is... wobbly. Yes, it has 805 horsepower, so I don't know why I'm surprised that it... 805 horsepower front wheel drive and drift suspension. This is the kind of thing I should gift to the community, or sell on the auction house, and fit in with the fashion of Forza modification. That didn't end well. Hi. Right, I think that's enough of that. Shall we go and build a sensible... No, I will lose. Shall we go and build a sensible B-class car to lap around the circuit? Right, quick B-class build. Here goes. Okay, so we've got it up to 247 horsepower. It's slightly lighter. It's got wider tyres, better tyre compound, bit of aero. It should handle relatively well. It's got a bit more power. Yeah, now we just need to get rid of that horrific livery and begin our 5 laps. So here we are with our much improved TRD livery, which always looks brilliant. This one's actually been made quite well. The only previous B-class car that's run round on the modified leaderboard is the Renault Gordini. That wasn't front-wheel drive. But yes, I have gone with Forza Aero. It is still front-wheel drive, because generally the engines and drivetrains I will try and keep standard if that works. So the Aero might not actually be very useful as it's front-wheel drive, but yeah, I'm not sure. Front-wheel drive can be good in lower classes. And the Aero, oh, it does turn in well. It's not got much go on the straights, but in the corners it's good. The Renault did a 116.4, so that's what we're looking at, although I've got a feeling this build, with its lack of power, won't actually be very good around this circuit. Be good around a twisty circuit. Or maybe I need to make a version 2 with some shorter gear ratios that help it get up to its speed a bit quicker. We'll see. First flying lap. Turns in too well. I missed a checkpoint. Okay, 14.4. That's not bad. Okay, we beat the rival. 113 dead. That seems... Well, I know we've only got the Renault for comparison, but that is quick. Right, fine. Oh no, I think I've messed this up. Getting overexcited about how fast this thing is. Front-wheel drive handling builds can be really good. Really, I need another one to compare it to, but I'm pretty impressed with this little thing, actually. It's faster than I thought it would be. For a quickly thrown together build like that, I think I could improve on it and make a properly quick little B-class car here. Yeah, not quite as fast that lap, but I think we're going to beat the rival again. 13 dead is really not that bad. Well, compared to my point of reference, which is the Renault 8. But that seems like a decent time. It drives really nicely as well. I love this thing. So, a 13.073 is more than 3 seconds faster than the Renault 8 Gordini. Now, I know that wasn't necessarily a brilliant tune I put on that, but they're in the same class, and then it's only up to a 106.3 to get to A-class. So I think with a bit of tweaking, a bit of fiddling about with that tune, I could make a properly quick little car. Somebody else probably already has made a good B-class tune for that. But as a first tune that I've made, I'm quite pleased with that. Drives really nicely. It's fun to drive. It's quick. You barely have to brake for the corners. As a front-wheel drive handling build, I'm really enjoying that. So hopefully I will use this in B-class for something or other at some point, because it does seem quite good. So I'll be honest, I wasn't actually excited to try this out, especially after the XJ13, which I've been looking forward to for ages and loved driving, which again, if you haven't seen that video, go and check that one out. It went up a few days ago. But yeah, I was very nearly not going to make a video on this car, because it's been in a previous Forza game. Didn't excite me all that much. It just didn't seem very interesting. It seemed like the final Celica that killed off the model, if you like, by being not particularly interesting or not particularly good. And it's not a particularly fast or exciting car, but I am very pleasantly surprised by how this thing drives. It was pretty good stock, had good turn in, a bit of understeer and stuff, but this in B-class feels really, really good. I'm really pleased with that quick little tune I put on front-wheel drive, bit of aero. But yeah, it handles amazingly well. So I do want to use this again, because it's not only fast, but it's nice to drive. It's an enjoyable drive. So I am really very pleasantly surprised by this Celica in the end. It is very fun. So if you haven't tried this out, I do recommend going and getting it from the festival playlist, putting a quick tune on it, something handling based, because it does seem very nice to drive if you go with a nice handling tune. But there we go. That is probably going to be all for our first look at the new Toyota Celica here in Forza Horizon 5, the first Horizon game to have this car. But that probably is going to do it for today. I will be back on Thursday to test out next week's Car Pass car, which is, of course, the XJ220S TWR, which hopefully is going to be... I am looking forward to that one. Hopefully that's going to be really, really good. So, yeah. If you have enjoyed this video and you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so, because there are plenty more cars I will be testing out soon. But for now, that is going to be all for today's video. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next video very soon.